What up? It's your boy T-Bear here in Reactions. So today's Wrestling Wednesday. So I wanted to check this video out though that I came across via Raw's Continuing Raw's. This is a good video to call the WWE Renaissance Era. I guess this is what the new era we are in. And hold on, one man. We're in right now. Hold on a second. I'm bad. So I guess we're calling this the Renaissance Era because this is the era where a lot going on. It's a good name to call it because we seen a lot of resurgence in wrestling. You enjoy my seat. And one of them being the resurgence of baby faces as well too, with like LA Knight, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and many others. So without further ado, let's check out this video about the WWE Renaissance eras. Let's get it. Let me see what I'm doing real quick. I'm back. Got a little occupied with some stars, so hopefully that helped out. But anyway, we are in the Renaissance era, so let's see what this about the new Renaissance era that I can totally agree with. Let's get it.
World Wrestling Entertainment in their years and years of existence has firmly been defined by eras, time frames in the company's history where different stars defined their image. They crossed over into the mainstream and they created moments which are still replayed till this very day. Each era has an accompanying cast of marquee attractions and reasons to exist. From 1997 to 2002 was the Attitude Era. Then came the Ruthless Aggression Era from 2002 to 2008. This was followed by the PG Era. Then came the Reality Era, followed by the New Era. With each name that the company was given for their various time frames, it felt as though WWE from a
I thought the Reality Era was, I know it was an era after the Reality Era, so I guess that's like I thought the reality was still in reality at the time, so I know it's a new era. So yeah, I guess you say that because it wasn't run by Shane and all that as well too. So yeah.
Television standpoint was growing more and more out of touch with their fan base. Yes, there was some good stuff here and there, but fans were just waiting for an improvement. But that turn in the right direction would just never come. The moments, the unpredictability, it was few and far between. At the end of the 2010s, it felt like World Wrestling Entertainment was hell-bent on self-sabotage and alienating their fan base, lacking a structure, missing out on top talent, coasting by with their pay-per-views, and failing to deliver fans the stars that they wanted at the top.
What is the video I reacted to that talked about the 2010 was like was the worst wrestling era as well too? Let me go back and see. I think that's it. I could be wrong. Hold on. Yup, I had to look like, yeah, this was definitely the same one to talk about the awful end of the decade of WWE. Yup. It's the same company. Hold on a second. I gotta get some more stars from my little man. But anyway, yup. Same channel that did it, yup. Yeah.
2018 or 2019, and it looked like the WWE was doomed to fail forever. Entering the 2020s, the WWE has finally found their way again. The company has gone through an overhaul from the top down, from new ownership and ideologies to pushing the new wave of superstars. The company has seen a massive turn under Nick Khan and Triple H, where fans are finally enjoying the WWE for the first time in a long time. The company's had a resurgence across multiple facets, from how the company is building up talent, a new vision for media, and even a complete overhaul of their developmental to fit into a grand scheme of an overall plan that seems to be clicking. After some really tough years for fans which were filled with frustration, bad television, and spite booking at times, the company has gone through a renaissance. By its literal definition, renaissance means rebirth, and a rebirth has happened within the WWE. And you may think the simple answer is Triple H taking over, but there's all these little pieces that make up a much bigger picture that finally has the company clicking. So let's rewind back. In 2020, WWE hired Nick Khan as their president, and
I ain't gonna lie, I was a little hesitant on Nick Khan's taking over for a minute, but I know it wasn't all Nick, thank God.
Chief Revenue Officer. Khan came into the WWE after working for CAA as their co-head of television. The company hired a seasoned media mogul who brought in a different philosophy on television. He came into the company and changed how the WWE distributed their content and operated their biggest pay-per-views. Earlier in 2020, WWE had parted ways with George Barrios and Michelle Wilson, who had been with the company for 11 years. When asked about why this happened, Vince McMahon said the company wanted to focus on growing the value of their content and that the decision was based on a different view of execution over areas of focus. Dumbing that down, Vince didn't think they were focusing on where the money was, and he had a different view on what they should be doing. In came Khan and immediately changed the company. By the following year, Peacock became the official home for the WWE's content library in the US.
It was a little so-so.
Entered a multi-year agreement with NBC Universal and were able to settle on a $1 billion rights agreement. The company launched the WWE Network back in 2014 with hopes that it would seamlessly fit into the streaming landscape, even though it hadn't exploded yet. Think the WWE's version of Netflix, a signature app that had content upon content for a bargain of a price. This was going to be big time, and for some time it was, but as time went on, those subscriptions started to flatline and even drop. The company made the decision to sell those rights. Essentially, the thought was, where can we plop the WWE logo and have more fans see it? If they couldn't have people coming to them, then they'd go to them on a bigger platform. Nick Khan spearheaded that and was able to make the best of a downtrending situation, and it was his business savvy that helped get that deal done. But where the company has really changed since his hire is their pay-per-views. Go back to 2018 or 2019 and pick a pay-per-view. Chances are you'll feel like you're watching a glorified version of Raw or SmackDown. Now their roster is the strongest that it's been in years, and the company is putting on some huge cards. But they do it in bigger venues and different markets. Going back a few years, there would be very few shows that were inside football stadiums or baseball parks. Now there's more of those, which give it a grander feel, and that goes hand in hand with what I mentioned earlier. The biggest change has actually come with WrestleMania. The grand feeling that came with WrestleMania has finally been restored for the past couple years, and why it's working is the two-night structure that the show now has. Again, go back to those shows in 2017, 18, 19, close to the 5-hour mark for almost all of them in terms of runtime. WrestleMania, though it was one of the biggest shows in the world, at times felt like a chore to watch, and it lost its sparkle. Instead of being a showcase of the best storylines and matches, it became this 5+ hour marathon where the company crammed as much as they could onto one show. So you'd usually get lukewarm critical reviews once these shows were done. Since Khan came in, WrestleMania has expanded to a 2-night format, night 1 Saturday and night 2 Sunday, which allows for more breathing room, makes the show much more digestible, and also gives the company the ability to space out their big matches. It was a change that at first seemed odd, but now seems reasonable that it happened. This change has led to more ticket sales, partnerships, and big-time matches. The rejigging of what and where a pay-per-view should be since 2021 is what's worked, and that falls under Khan, who is a key piece in WWE exploring these different markets. Also, pay-per-view fatigue doesn't seem to be a thing anymore. They don't have a pay-per-view every month just for the sake of doing it. You don't need a TLC in December to fill a spot on the calendar, because if you end off your schedule in November, then the next one isn't until the Rumble in January, which fans will be hungry for, no doubt. SummerSlam went from arenas to stadiums. The WWE started to do more international shows, and all that came under the eye of Nick Khan. That hire in 2020, though simple for most fans, has had an unseen effect on the WWE. WWE, for their entire existence, has also been able to maintain connection to the entertainment industry because at the core of it, they are an entertainment company. Music and television helped the WWE launch WrestleMania and get to new heights. But there was a point where it felt like the WWE was trying their absolute hardest to hold on to that relationship with the mainstream. Problem being, there was a huge disconnect between what they thought worked and what actually worked. The company brought in stars like Snooki, Jerry Springer, and Kevin Federline to continue to show that they were still relevant. Heck, they had an entire era of their flagship show have a cast of changing celebrity guest hosts to maintain that relationship so very desperately. Sometimes it was good, most times it was bad, and sometimes it was flat out cringe-inducing. But those celebrities didn't really do much for the WWE in the grand scheme of things. What's a one-off appearance really going to add, aside from your hardcore fans rolling their eyes at some very forced segment? Now this is a model that the company has ironed out. They finally figured out how to incorporate names from the outside. Whereas before the goal was, let's just bring in these guys and use them in a segment for a bit, maybe force them to wrestle even though they have no intention to and they don't really care. Now they have them seamlessly fit into the company. At the top of this is Logan Paul, one of the biggest names in combat sports and multimedia. With him, he brings a reach of millions. His addition,
You know, I don't like him as a character. I give him his props for his wrestling. I give him his props for wrestling, though. I'll tell you that, though, for real. I give him his props, though. I will say that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, guys. I'm back. His mom came, so his mom's here, so she got him right now. So anyway, in case you're wondering where the little man went, anyway. So let's keep going. Like I said, you know, like the carry the Logan Paul, I say skills wise, he's showing a lot of respect for WWE and he's putting in work for him as well too, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, here's the thing. I always say, like, outside of a character, I always have respect of a wrestler, regardless if they play or what they portray. Outside of that character, I respect any wrestler that's not problematic. You know, he used to be a little problematic for it, but he's been showing a lot of respect for this sport. As everything, he's not looking at it as like, you know, I'm trying to find the right word to say it though, but like he's as respected though, at least.
to the company seemed pretty harmless on the surface, but he's been able to give the WWE an exposure among young adults and fans who maybe don't follow the company but follow what Paul is doing, even if they're just hate watching the guy.
Exactly.
The biggest tool he's got is his online reach and the ability to market. Just look at how many views his Impulsive podcast gets. It's these crossovers that are working and helping people like Seth Rollins be seen by those who wouldn't know who the guy is.
Exactly.
And it's going both ways. The WWE gets eyes on them because people want to see what Paul's doing, and by working with him, guys like Cody and Seth are being put into this mainstream avenue where they get some more exposure than they normally would have because of the built-in fan base that he has. Even if the exposure is so simple as to, the wrestler that was on Logan Paul's podcast, it helps them get those names out constantly and not just for a one-off. What's an added bonus is Paul is a natural athlete and he's come into the WWE and made big time waves. The believability factor is there because he can go in the ring. They've kept him a special attraction where he only wrestles at the biggest shows 2 or 3 times a year, and he's been great for the WWE. Instead of an ever revolving door of people that serve a single time purpose and that WWE fans couldn't care about anyways, they finally figured it out. Same thing goes for Bad Bunny, one of the most popular artists on the face.
And I'm truly surprised that, I mean, I can see Logan because he's athletic. Know what I mean? He's not slouched in the boxing ring. But the fact that Bad Bunny is doing as great as he is for someone we don't know, being athletic like that, that's a lot. That's awesome right there.
Face of the planet. His appearances in the WWE have helped them garner huge mainstream headlines because he brings that worldwide reach. These guys both wrestle and do well, and again, it goes both ways. Fans care, so do media outlets. How do you pique someone's interest who won't watch the WWE? Here's someone you may know, they're actually wrestling on our card, and they do it a few times. Opposed to here's a celebrity paraded out without any rhyme or reason, please put it on your website. Who are the ones that can land you on the big time publications? Who are the ones that can help make waves for it? Again, both Bad Bunny and Paul started appearing in 2021 under Khan's reach.
I think maybe when we started even bringing in like Logan Paul and Bad Bunny into it, and just seeing like
even Bad Bunny's match at WrestleMania, I guess his first real match at WrestleMania, I guess 37. That I feel like people were starting to go, oh, Bad Bunny's part of this. Oh, I haven't watched wrestling in a long time, or I've never watched wrestling, but I like Bad Bunny, so now I got to start watching.
Yep.
And he showed out.
A lot of eyeballs on
Lots.
what you guys are doing.
Like you said, more now than ever.
Overhaul seems to be the word of the video, and I'll continue diving into it with NXT, which was another necessary step that needed to happen in order for things to become one functioning machine. The NXT brand has been around for over a decade, and what initially started as the company's replacement for the ECW revival became a cult classic among fans who were jaded with the WWE's main roster. The focus on Raw and SmackDown was the big, jacked up dudes who were the textbook definition of wrestlers, and stories that felt like they changed course every minute. Meanwhile, on NXT, they had a different in-ring product, a product that a lot of fans wanted to see.
Man, and I tell you, there's folks who was calling NXT the real main roster. They call anybody go to the main roster demotion instead of promotion. It was a guy on the wrestling group who hate calling it a call up. He kept calling it. He's like, don't call it come on. It's a demotion to them, and it's kind of started to like that because a lot of guys who went up to the NXT, the main roster, didn't do too good. So some guys either fell off, got released, or ended up getting resurgent by returning to NXT. One of them being Finn Balor, and Finn Balor as well too. So yeah.
They were slower with their storytelling. You had to look for those Easter eggs, and they kept rewarding you for following the product.
Right.
The brand had their peak from 2015 to 2019, so you can imagine the outrage that came in 2021 when everything was stripped away and the super indie once again transitioned into becoming a farm system. The focus became less on short-term gain and instead creating future stars that had the star power and athleticism to become big names in the WWE. And early on, it was a tough watch.
It was.
Nickelodeon NXT was rough because they stripped it all.
Nickelodeon NXT. But yeah, here's the thing. I liked it. I did like 2.0. There's people that didn't like 2.0. I understood it, but I liked it for the reason that they did. They said that was probably the problem. That they were like, for the good part of it, bought them develop new stars. Know what I mean? Because NXT was great, the Black and Gold was great, and it was created to start while being a little somewhat indie for the indie fans for WWE, indie for WWE for the indie fans as well too. But when they started this, like it sucked that they took away like the indie feel of it, but in the same time, I liking the new upcoming of the new stars as well too, or like as well too. I mean, it became gold white, and it got a good resurgence right there. But this was like, it was like the overhaul was a little surprising, but it worked out in the end.
All down entirely. They wanted to do things their way, and looking back at it now, I mean, I said it back in 2021 too, but it's a step that needed to happen.
It did.
The rebrand came out of left field, but it's since settled nicely. It has a nice blend of young wrestlers, some stars from the main roster, and the in-ring quality that fans loved back in the black and gold days. Again, another overhaul done by Triple H and Nick Khan.
What we want to make sure is easy for folks who want to be WWE superstars is figuring out how to become WWE superstars.
Right.
So if you think of the life of an elevated athlete throughout their career, the opportunity to go play somewhere has always been easy.
Of course.
Being able to play somewhere is not. That's what's hard. But if you're an amazing high school football player, colleges come after you, you get recruited, you go into their system, and either you make it or you don't make it. Again, all that it takes to get there, very difficult. But the system, not difficult from my point of view. So we want our system to be an easy system where people who want to be superstars, they know how to get to us and we can get to them. We don't want to just keep doing that.
And I'm glad that Nick turned around and ended up being a better con after all if he gets much of it. Because before, like I say, I was a little hesitant on this thing, but I guess it's definitely one of them trusted process because he did like overhaul with the releases as well too, and get rid of NXT UK. I'm like, what is this guy doing? But the fact that he's not just all Triple H, this Nick Khan partly the reason why we got the nice resurgence and we in the Renaissance era of WWE. I should have just trusted the project, and I'm glad. And I got my second thoughts on Nick Khan, and he's definitely the better Khan.
Same thing. We want to look elsewhere for great young talent.
If you streamline your developmental, if you make it simple, it works. A key branch off from what he said is the WWE Next in Line program, where the company recruits college athletes and gives them the option of becoming WWE superstars. So you could potentially have...
Me personally, I like it. I like it though as well too. I like that they because they're making themselves just as much like a real sport, and that's why the main reason I like the bar as well too. Now I mean, not everybody's going to make it, and that's just the same way in the other sports or there's other pro sports. Now, I mean, maybe just as great as an athlete in college world too, but if you're doing it in pro, whether it's basketball, football, hockey, possibly hockey, baseball, possibly, you know, most come straight high school from hockey and baseball, and or any other sports. Those, I mean, if you do great in the pro as you do in the college, or even better, that's all screwed. If you ain't cut it, you just ain't cut for it. That's all.
Have the next Brock Lesnar on your hands. And when looking at NXT, two of the big stars of the future are Braun Breaker, who came in from football, and Tiffany Stratton, who came in from a gymnastics background. Both completely molded by the WWE. Both
Not to mention Braun Breaker's dad is a Steiner, but still.
Wrestlers who look like pillars of the future. They came in with no wrestling training. They were built from the ground up, given time to find their way, display their athleticism, fail, figure out what works.
That's right. Melo had the experience, but them two, they never had experience because I don't think Braun ever did indie. That's where he's coming from, so understandable.
Doesn't, and all the subtle nuances that wouldn't have worked with the black and gold audience. They wanted the big veteran signings from ROH or New Japan. With AEW becoming the landing spot for a lot of those talents, black and gold really didn't need to continue to do the same thing. I link it back.
Now I get why they said that though too. I mean, it's still understandable. They are still bringing some veterans, some folks from other companies like Dragon Lee, and right now, our Pillman Jr. and Jay when she starts. Know what I mean? But I'm glad that's not the main focus. They're like 50-50 with it as well too.
Back to sports. It's a farm system, and before that farm system had next to no connect with the actual big team. How are people going to get familiar with these guys if you don't give them a chance? How are they going to learn if they're just expected to be good in ring? How are they going to continue to sustain their success? And now there's a connection between the farm system and the big team. When they have Braun Breaker appear a few times on Raw, they give Carmelo Hayes a shot. Tiffany Stratton was working with Becky Lynch, and they're slowly weaving them in. Here's our prospects, and here's a little tease. They're young, they're building up, and soon they'll be...
I'm glad they're doing this too, because they used to do this a while back before with the developmental guys, like some of the guys at FCW were brought in as plants, valets as well too. Like, you know, Serena D was part of FCW when she joined us to Trade Technology. She was a FCW champion around time. Ricardo Rodriguez was a Roberto's personal announcer, but he was also wrestling at FCW. Even some of the OVW guys was the same thing as well too at the time. And, you know, NXT kind of did it as well too with bringing in Ricochet and Matt. It was Ricochet and Aleister Black along DIY for tag team matches for main roster, but they ain't go up to the main roster yet. So yeah, and for why they wasn't, and they even brought in the make them like the third brand, bring them in Survivor Series, but after that they didn't do it no more. So it's kind of like it didn't like almost lost its steam a little bit. So that's why it was a good idea. They still doing it now
on the main roster. Remember way back when they didn't even do that, Vince would get his hands on someone from NXT and have no idea what to do with them. He would just see someone, have no idea what they're about.
Well, much like it reminded of the Bearcat Lee, man. They did him so dirty, man. And the AEW's not doing any better, to be honest. I mean, he was for men, they're not doing any better, so yeah.
And repackage them. That instead is happening in NXT. So it again comes back to things fitting together properly. And those call-ups are not fumbled anymore. It's the biggest connect that the two sides have had since that crop with Paige, Big E, the Wyatts, the Shield. That crop of talent was brought up nearly a decade ago, and they fumbled so many wrestlers in between that time. In the Renaissance era, though, the biggest change comes at the top. In 2022, Vince McMahon was forced to step down from his role in creative. Many fans had been beaten into submission at McMahon's philosophy of booking.
You know, I feel about this all the time. It's the reason why we got that dickhead version of him is because of this bullshit right here.
Oftentimes random, poorly crafted, and nonsensical. He focused very heavily on part-time wrestlers of eras gone by, which sometimes put their health in jeopardy, and he sabotaged the progression of superstars of the future. To discredit Vince McMahon is completely wrong. I mean, without him, the company isn't as big.
Yes, that's why I don't fully discredit him. That's why I don't fully credit him. I mean, he put wrestling in him, he helped put wrestling in the mainstream, but through the years, he lost his touch.
As it is, the man is responsible for having a vision that no one else did.
Out of touch.
But he was disconnected with the changing times.
He was.
Disconnected with the fan base and would coast by because, well, it was his company. The 2010s are the scapegoat in this video, and they'll continue to be. Under his watch, the company missed out on so many top stars by giving them lukewarm pushes before they'd fade into obscurity, and they'd essentially be the forgotten toy that was the shiny one for all of one episode of Monday Night Raw. With him, sometimes it would feel like you were being force-fed what he wanted to give you, while what you wanted was intentionally dangled in your face and not given to you. Now with Triple H, that's completely changed. He's able to introduce talent slowly and keep them a constant on WWE TV. I made a video called the WWE's New Wave. In it, I discussed how people are...
Oh, that's his video. I was going to check that out first. So at first, it was going to be long, but I didn't want to miss out on this. I will check that out.
Finally getting a chance. There's an investment being made in stars who will carry the WWE now and ones that will be there for the foreseeable future. And again, linking it back to a sports team, it's about depth. How much depth can you create in your organization? It's about having those guys take over once the big guys are gone and building around that core. Building so you don't have another big dog situation where it's like, oh shoot, our top guy is on the way out. Let's strap a rocket to someone. Instead, here's those talents, let's let them simmer, and slowly they'll come up when the time is right. NXT fits into this plan. Call-ups are...
I'm back. Had to get them. Was the one to do the new era one, but I didn't want to miss the new wave video, but I didn't want to miss out on this. So 3 Lakers was a good video, but I might end up watching this as well too. So we're going to go backward on this. But anyway, let's keep going.
Working, and wrestlers who are organically over are given the chance to prove why the WWE should run with them. It's a huge contrast to before, where molten hot acts would emerge, fans would be cheering their guts out, and they'd immediately be made to look like comedy acts because they didn't fit Vince's vision. It links back to what I talked about earlier. You need a connect from upper management and the talent, and right now that connect is there. Under Triple H's eye, the company has focused on doing what a television show should do, and that's storytelling. A key difference is instead of it being a 30-minute episode, it's one concurrent story that seems to have logical start and end points. He's also focused on giving fans a great in-ring product.
That's why you should finish the story at WrestleMania 40 with Cody Rhodes winning the title, and don't burn the book either for the dickheads that want that to happen.
Which he was a huge fan of in NXT. The WWE finds himself in a similar situation to the Ruthless Aggression era, where they had stars of a previous generation plus ones that are slowly building up. And when that happens, you have limitless possibilities. Now, I do want to point out that not everything has been perfect under Triple H. There are some people that give him blind credit without looking at his flaws, and he does have a lot of them, but at least there's structure. Under his watch, the WWE has been quite strong. Look no further than CM Punk. They were able to repair their relationship with CM Punk. Who knows, in an alternate universe where Vince is still around and the WWE is not the same, maybe his ego gets in the way and we don't get CM Punk back in the WWE. They're open to doing business with others and with other companies. They've also proven that acts from other companies can come in and be treated as big time. Cody is
there's word that he's going to be working with New Japan soon. New Japan and I think I forgot another Japan. Another Japan company as well too, so that's pretty awesome.
Key example, when he came back in 2022, people thought, all right, cool return, but the company proved that they could go out, get free agents, and have them immediately have a sustained impact. Cody's arrival into the WWE laid the foundation for others to come into the company. Being able to lure free agents into the company, I don't know if that would have happened a couple years ago. The last one that connects this whole thing together is Roman Reigns' heel turn. A heel turn that finally made him the top guy that it didn't feel like he was back in 2019 and even early 2020. The turn gave Roman the autonomy to tell his stories, and by virtue of him being the top heel, everything else just slowly built under the top star. If he was still a face, realistically, who would your top heel be? Would you have all these crazy moments? Would guys like Jay, Sammy, LA Knight continue to get that big time exposure if he wasn't there? Him being what he is has allowed Cody to become the face talent that the company desperately needed. If he was still a face, those two would be duking it out, and who knows if Cody would even be in that same position. So by virtue of having that top marquee name, that huge draw, everything has built.
And as I said, this is why I'm hoping they do have him drop the title at 40, man, and let Cody be the one to win it, please.
Underneath, while he's still the main attraction. The WWE era we're in is being called the Renaissance Era, and it makes sense. When you actually look at how well the WWE is functioning, it makes sense as to why things are clicking. A few years ago, it wasn't like this. Everything seems like it's intended with one company in mind. There's not this sense of just waiting for something to fall apart from an on-screen perspective. As fans, you don't feel like, okay, when are they just gonna screw us over? The pay-per-views are fun. Everyone's getting a chance. The WWE has developmental clicking with stars
except for what happened in the 39 for half of us.
Future ready to take over. WrestleMania is back, and they understand how to remain in the mainstream. Since 2021, the WWE has adjusted in various different assets, and small and simple tweaks, plus Triple H taking over in creative, has given the company new life for the first time in a long time. Though even the WWE's biggest defender can't say it's all perfect, because it's still not. It has gone through a big overhaul, though. If you want great in-ring matches, they have it. If you want your soap opera pro wrestling characters, you have those too. If you want tag team wrestling, well, that's slowly being built up. The excitement, the unpredictability, and most importantly, the trust within the WWE and their fans is back. It's finally a well-oiled machine that's in working order, and that working order wasn't something that seemed possible at all a few years ago. Fans were just so hell-bent on crapping on the WWE, and let's be honest, they deserved it. They deserve every bit of that.
I won't lie. I dealt with it, and I didn't feel no bad. I was pissed, but I understood why they felt the way they felt. While we had some anti-hero, and I'll play this. I will also say this. Also, I will add that AEW exists in probably part of the reason as well too. Now, I'll be honest, because at the time it wasn't an alternative. Hold on. It wasn't an alternative. Hold on. Let me help them on, man. There was no alternative at the time. Impact. The other alternative they did have like Impact Wrestling or Alright, hold on. Let me see what's going on.
Because they were churning out.
Let me see what's going on, man. I'm back. Now I was trying to say that it wasn't that many. Let me try one more time. Let's see, having him stand up on his own may help. Now I was trying to say, at the time, WWE during this time they had like a big alternative. Meaning you had Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, but at the time it was Ring of Honor kept bouncing. Ring of Honor kept bouncing back and forth in channels. Impact kept bouncing around channels, and it was hard to find Ring of Honor on any television at the time as well too. And not everybody had El Rey for Lucha Underground as well either. That's the other thing. So let's put that as well too. Then AEW became a big time alternative that helped. I will say that kind of helped. Get WWE in this research as well too. So yeah. So I will still give props to AEW for being what it is, being the good alternative.
Garbage. Now the company is finally back to being the sports entertainment giant. In the comments below, let me know, is this the best place that WWE has been in the past 15 years? What's working for you? What's not? What changes still need to be made? This is the fourth of a series that's almost happened on accident. I made a video talking about how garbage the WWE was at the end of the decade. There's one talking about the pay-per-views and how they've gone from chore.
The reach. I think did I react to that? I may have. I'm not sure. I may have reacted to that one. But the New Way one, I'm about to go back to. I didn't know that was. I should have just watched it before this. So I'm gonna go back to that though. I meant to react to it, but trying to find time for it was hard. But now I definitely gotta react to it. Other than that, WWE has definitely had I've been saying it's been a resurgence with WWE, mainly with the baby faces. And maybe with the baby face as well too, but definitely in general, including the pay-per-view for sure as well too. I think I did react to the pay-per-view one. I really remember watching something about the pay-per-view, or at least he talks about it in that awful time video. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. All right. Other than that, if you like my reaction and his little ad libs, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and comment down below. Do you believe that WWE had a resurgence as well too? Let me see if I did do the pay-per-view resurgence video. Maybe I did not. Maybe it was part of the end. It was the end of this where he said we talked about resurgence, and he actually advertised this as well too. So yeah. Other than that, comment down below. Do you feel that it's same as well too? I would like to say the main thing I was going to say is please let Roman drop the title at 40. I know they trying to do this record. I know some people want the record. It's not needed. Cody needs to be the big face of the company right now and do that, please, with him beating Roman at 40, please. But other than that, it should be TBR signing off. One love.